Hi guys, this is Klazart bringing another audio commentary, and this time I'm commentating on the Round 5 2008-2009 season Pro League matchup, Set 4, Game 4, between SKT1 and Hwasong Oz, played earlier this weekend on the Sunday, on the 7th of June. And this is going to be Set 4 between Canata and Backho. Canata, one of the old school, old style Terrans. We've got him in green at the 5 o'clock position at the bottom right hand corner of the map, and Backho looks like he's starting up at the top left hand corner of the map, playing Protoss, obviously. Canata is one of those SKT1 Terrans that developed the whole SKT1 Terran strategy that was responsible for making it famous. Obviously, credit goes to Boxer and I Love UV, but Canata was one of the early players to really carry on that tradition, and he's one of the few of those old school players still hanging around, along with Nada, of course, who obviously wasn't in SKT1. And I believe it's a tradition that has really revolutionized StarCraft, and that is being followed to this day by players like Fantasy, who continue the tradition of great Terran play. And obviously we had Flash, who definitely wasn't a flash in the pan, and I'm sure a lot of fans are hoping to see him recover to his best and start to dominate again if a little bit of pressure can be taken off him by the KTF coach. You've got to remember he's only 17 years old, and it's a lot of pressure to put on a young kid. Even though his mechanics are superb. Canada just putting his sending his SCV out. He hasn't put his racks down yet, so that's interesting that he's sending his SCV out to scout before even putting. He's going straight cross map, which is an interesting choice of strategy by Canada. Meanwhile, Backho looks like he's put his gateway down, and Backho hasn't sent his pro. And Canada's actually building a forward racks here, so I think that's a good choice on a map like this. This is God's Garden, and obviously the biggest feature of this map is that you've got that protected expo, which obviously helps Terran players quite a lot. Extractor now going down for Canada, and I think that forward racks is a good option because he might be expecting the Protoss player to be fast expanding, to go straight for 12 Nexus, in which case this is a great strategy because he can put some pressure on the Protoss player early on. He can also use it as an advanced scout and to spot and things like that. So I think it's a good maneuver by Canada to do that. Backho obviously not opting for the expansion. Looks like he's also trying to play a more aggressive strategy, hoping to catch his opponent off guard, going probably for a tech build. This map, I've got to say that if you look at the matchups in this round between SKT1 and Oz, and you look at the way the players have been put on the maps, I really feel that the Oz coach hasn't been the greatest tactically. I don't feel that he's done the smartest things, and if it wasn't for the fact that we saw an amazing upset victory by Lomo versus Fantasy in the previous round, there's a very strong chance that Oz would find themselves 2-1 down at this stage and possibly losing 3-1 on this matchup. And again, you look at the statistics for God's Garden, it's not really a map that is great for Protoss. Okay, Protoss versus Zerg, you could argue the statistics. I mean, if you look at the statistics, Zerg versus Protoss are 18-11 down. Protoss versus Terran, they're 6-10 down. So, whatever way you look at it, this isn't a map that's great for Protoss players. And Backho, yes, he isn't the most exciting Protoss player around, but he has, from his early backdoor shenanigans, developed into a reasonable, and Canada Scout just being blocked by that Zealot. But he has developed, despite his early backdoor shenanigans, he's developed into a reasonable, strong representative for Hwasong Oz in the Pro League. If not, I feel he still needs to develop his skills a little bit more before he can really be a contender to go far in the Star Leagues. But he's really been performing he's really performing solidly of late for Hwasong Oz, and this is again almost a throwaway matchup on this map. Perhaps the Hwasong Oz coach thought that this was such a strong Terran map that Fantasy would be on this map, but really I felt that you could put someone like Haya on this map where he is strong versus Protoss, where he would have a good chance. And I just feel that overall the SKT1 coach, obviously there's a lot of guesswork involved because you don't know who's going to be playing what map, but I feel the SKT1 coach has probably gotten it right. It looks like Canada is now taking his protected expo, and that's the advantage of this because you only need to defend the ramp, and Canada with the two Reens blocking with the SCV in front is going to be able to take that expansion. He's going to have to defend it, obviously. He's got his factory up as well. It looks like he has gone for the one fac into CC, and really a Terran player can go one fac into CC quite comfortably on a map like this. Backho obviously anticipating his opponent might have gone for a 14 CC build, which is why he decided to go for the more aggressive strategy. Both players obviously anticipating that. Backho looks like he's going to be able to force his way up the map, up the ramp, but he's going to be forced back because that siege tank pops out and Backho retreating, and obviously Canata, having seen that Dragoon, is aware of what Backho is doing. Backho now putting the robotics facility. So this is gonna be a very crucial Reaver harass. I mean, it's always a crucial Reaver harass for the Protoss player against a Terran opponent, but this is gonna be doubly crucial because the Terran player has taken an economic advantage by putting that CC down first. Now starting up the starport. I think Backho has started up, looking at the minimap, started up his natural expo as well. I'm not 100% sure though. Observatory going down for Backho as well. He's in purple, by the way, for those of you wondering, at the top left-hand corner of the map. And Backho, yeah, it's going to be absolutely crucial. We've seen the starport going down for Canata as well, and I think that's a really clever strategy academy as well. And yeah, Backho now only starting up his Nexus. Wow. So he's going to be severely behind in terms of his economy if he cannot inflict significant damage. And again, the Terran is just going to be in such a great position to defend this, and really once he gets that Wraith out, that Wraith is just going to be absolute anathema to that shuttle. It's just going to cause so much problems for Backho when he's going to try and harass. Barracks being put down by Canata. I'm not sure why he did that, perhaps. Actually, I have no idea why he would do that, so perhaps one of you guys can enlighten me. I'm not sure what he gained by actually planting the barracks in the ground. Maybe he was hoping to sneak a Marine, produce a Marine and sneak it through to get a scout in, but obviously that was spotted out by Backho. That's the only reason why I can think he would do that. But Backho, yeah, finds himself behind in terms of economy on a map that is favored Terran. Already 3 siege tanks out for Canata, and now he's going to have that Wraith out as well against to cancel out the Reaver harass. I still haven't seen a robotics support bay going down for Backho, and the robotics support base still not complete, so Canata is going to be in a really strong position to defend this. This looks like it's going to be a fairly one-sided contest, guys. Canata can just sit back on his heels, continue to develop his economic advantage, and then push out and just steamroll the Protoss opponent. And you can see why Terran players, and now the second command center, second expansion being built for Backho to be taken at the 3 o'clock position, and for Canata. Backho now finally has got that shuttle out, but again, by the time 4 siege tanks already out for Canata, Observer now getting into his base. He has the academy for the scans, however he doesn't have an engineering base, so he doesn't have turrets really, and he's going to be obviously relying on that Wraith armory going down as well. He's obviously going to be relying on that Wraith to stop the shuttle off Backho's, but really it pretty much nullifies any hope that Backho has of doing significant damage to Canada's economy, because that shuttle is going to be in great position not only to cancel the Wraith is going to be in great position not only to cancel the shuttle but also to scout. The other interesting thing that I find is how these two players have kind of cancelled each other out a little bit, where both players anticipated the other player going for the fast expansion, going for the expansion straight off, and that obviously didn't happen. Canada now sending an SCV. Now that Reaver's out and still hasn't been picked up by the shuttle, so Backho, having spotted that Wraith, realized that Backho is actually going to pick up a couple of Zealots, and I guess he's going to take the Zealots along with the shuttle to combat the siege tanks, because Canada does have a siege tank heavy force right now, but I'm sure by now he's got his armory up, he's probably producing a couple of Goliaths as well, and really Backho is going to have to do something special here, and 2 raids out for Canata, and that shuttle is going to get taken down so fast it's not even going to be funny.